Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 2, titled The Activities of Maharaj Agnidra, text number 3. Tadupalabhya Bhagavanadi Purusha Sadasi Gayanti Purvachittim Namapsarasam Abhiyapayamasa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Understanding King Agnidra's desire, the first and most powerful created being of this universe, Lord Brahma, selected the best of the dancing girls in his assembly, whose name was Purvachitti, and sent her to the king. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri. In this verse, the words Bhagavan Adipurusha are significant. Bhagavan Adipurusha is Lord Krishna. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Krishna is the original person. In Bhagavad Gita, he is also addressed by Arjuna as Purusham Adyam, the original person, and he is called Bhagavan. In this verse, however, we see that Lord Brahma is described as Bhagavan Adipurusha. The reason he is called Bhagavan is that he fully represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the firstborn creature in this universe. Lord Brahma could understand Maharaja Agnidra's desire because he is as powerful as Lord Vishnu. As Lord Vishnu, situated as Paramatma, can understand the desire of the living entity, so Lord Brahma can also understand the living entity's desire, for Vishnu as a via medium informs him. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave, Lord Vishnu informs Lord Brahma of everything from within his heart. Because Maharaja Agnidra specifically worshipped Lord Brahma was pleased and he sent Purvachitti, the Apsara, to satisfy him. In the sense the Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada.
So we are reading in this chapter, second chapter of the 5th canto, the chapter called The Activities of Maharaj Agnidra. Previous chapter was Activities of Maharaj Priyavrata, and Maharaj Priyavrata's son is Agnidra, and his activities we are seeing. In the previous verse we saw that he went to the valley of Mandara hills and he began to perform austerities and began to worship Lord Brahma. And his desire was Pitru Loka Kamaha. He wanted to go to a heavenly planet called Pitru Loka. And to go there, you need to have a good son. And so he wanted to have a family, a wife, son, and son who will perform pious activities, which will enable him to go to Pitru Loka. So in this verse, Tad Upalabhya, understanding, Upalabhya, understanding, Tat Upalabhya, Agnidras Pitruloka Kamaha, Upalabhya, understanding his desire. Bhagavan Adipurushaha, referring to Lord Brahma here. Sadasi Gayantim Purvachittim Nama Apsarasam. And in his assembly, Sadasi, there was a Apsara, and her name was Purvachittim Nama Apsarasam. And these, who are these Apsaras? They are singing, dancing girls, Gayantim, in the assembly. Abhiyapayamasa, yapayam, to send. Abhiyapayamasa, sent her down to the earthly planet, to Mandara hill, where Agnidra was performing his austerities. Understanding King Agnidra's desire, Tad Upalabhya, the first and foremost powerful created being of this universe, Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Adipurushaha, selected the best of the dancing girls, Gayantim, in his assembly, Sadasi Gayantim, whose name was Purvachittim Namapsarasam Abhiyapayam Asa, and sent her to the king. So, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned the words Bhagavan Adipurusha are significant in this verse. It's very beautiful how Srila Prabhupada has analyzed this word. Because Bhagavan Adipurusha is Krishna. So when we read Vedic literatures, there is an art, there is a methodology of reading Vedic literatures, otherwise we will misunderstand. And that important aspect of reading Vedic literature is that we must read with the help of the spiritual master and the previous acharyas. Otherwise we cannot understand Shastra. So in order to understand the true meaning of the Vedic literatures, in order to understand the purpose of life, we need the help of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And Shastra, like this, Bhagavatam, we have to understand with the help of Guru and Sadhu. The Guru explains the Vedic literatures in terms of the Sadhu's explanations. So, here, Bhagavan Adipurusha, if you simply go by the language of Sanskrit, you can get confused. Oh, it is Krishna. And Sadasi Gayantim Apsarasam. Oh, in Krishna's assembly there is a Gayantim, singing, dancing girl. No, it cannot refer to Krishna. It must be referring to someone else. So, Acharyas help us understand that here Bhagavan Adipurusha is referring not to Krishna but to Lord Brahma, because in the previous verse also, Vishwasrujam Patim. Of course, again, Vishwasrujam Patim, you can again misunderstand. It is Vishnu, it is Krishna. So we need the help of the Acharyas, we need the help of the spiritual master to correctly understand. And then Prabhupada further justifies why is Lord Brahma being called here as Bhagavan Adipurusha. Because Bhagavan Adipurusha, the Vedas are trying to understand who is the Adipurusha and trying to explain that Krishna Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. And who was saying that? Brahma himself was saying that. Here Brahma is being addressed as Bhagavan Adipurusha. Why is it? So Prabhupada has given a very nice reason. In this verse, however, we see that Lord Brahma is described as Bhagavan Adipurusha. The reason he is called Bhagavan is that he fully represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Bhagavan generally means very powerful. Although, very technically, if you see, Bhagavan means one who possesses Bhaga. Bhagavan. And there are 6 opulences, Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, Shriya. So, and one who possesses all these 6 attributes, these 6 opulences, simultaneously to an unlimited extent, no one possesses those except Krishna. That's the analysis again made by the Acharyas. And here, it is, the word Bhagavan sometimes is also used for somebody who is very powerful. And Lord Brahma is very powerful. He creates the universe. Now, he creates the universe. He is powerful. But how did he become powerful? Where did he get his power from? It is from Krishna. The Bhagavatam very elaborately describes that. And so, because he possesses the powers of Krishna, he can also be called Bhagavan. and he manifests those power, he can be called Bhagavan because he represents Bhagavan. Like say for instance, in this world, suppose you are representing a certain big company, multi-million, billion-dollar company. You go as a company representative. And your company is very big. You may be a small man, you may be some employee earning some salary. But your company is very powerful. And when you go representing your big company, and say for instance you are doing some business negotiation, and then you will talk big words, big numbers. You don't have any such money. But you are representing the company which is rich and big, and so you will talk crores of rupees. And then say in the negotiation, they ask, oh, if you want to proceed with this business negotiation, you have to deposit 100 crores. Sometimes negotiations are like that. You have to give a deposit, then more. Because they want to avoid all small players. So you are the representative of the big company. You will call your boss in the company. This is the thing. And the boss says, go ahead. And then you will say, all right, 100 crores. You're talking 100 crores. How you are able to talk about 100? Because you are representing the company. You are manifesting the powers of the company because you are representing the company. Your own worth may be just maybe few lakhs of rupees or few thousands of rupees. That's all. So in the same way, Lord Brahma, he is powerful. And his power is a manifestation of Krishna's power. And Krishna has invested with him his powers because he is in carrying his intent. Because you are carrying the intent of your company to secure that business deal. So you are allowed to manifest some of the powers of the company because you are representing the intent of the company. But that money is not yours, hundreds of crores is not yours. It belongs to the company. In the same way, and so somebody may look at you and say, oh, he's a very powerful man. Yes, you are talking about hundreds of crores. You are a powerful man. But where are you getting your power? Getting from the company. In the same way, Lord Brahma manifests a lot of power. But what is the source of his power? It is Krishna. So, Brahma, here it is said, Tatupalabhya Bhagavan Adipurusha. Lord Brahma understood the desire of Agnidra. So, when we read Vedic literatures, we have to read carefully. There's another example in the Bhagavad Gita. How, if we don't have the help of the spiritual master or the acharyas, we will misunderstand. The 15th chapter, which we were chanting last month, Krishna says, Shariram yad avapnoti yachapya utkramatishvaraha grihitva itani samyati vayur gandham ivashayat. Here Krishna has used the word Shariram avapnoti and Shariram utkramati. Shariram avapnoti means to get the body. This is 15th chapter, 8th verse. Shariram yad avapnoti. When one gets the body, avapnoti, utkramati, when he gives up the body, Ishvaraha Shariram yadavapnoti yachapya utkramat Ishvaraha. So it is saying, when the Ishvaraha Shariram avapnoti takes the body, and Shariram utkramati, when he gives up the body. Who? Ishvaraha. So Ishvara means Lord, no? So the Acharyas point out, here this Ishvara here refers to the living entity. Prabhupada writes that in the purport. In other words, if the living here the living entity is described as Ishvara. Why is that? He is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade. And if he likes, he can move to a lower class. So in that way, we are controller of our body. If we act rightly, if we act in a certain way, we can go to a higher status body. If we act sinfully, we can go to a lower. So I am in control of this body. And so the living entity is in a sense an Ishvara. So Vedic literatures have many such examples. So Shariram yadavapnoti yachapya utkramat Ishvaraha Grihitvaitani samyati vayur gandham ivashayat. Here Krishna is talking about Ishvaraha, the living entity, accepts a certain body, gives up a certain body. And while he accepts and gives up a certain body, Grihitvaitani samyati, he carries with him, Grihitva etani grihitva, he carries. What does he carry? When he gives up a body and when he takes on a new body, what is that he carries and moves forward? And that's why Prabhupada translates, the living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life. Grihitvaitani samyati, he carries a certain conception of life, a certain conception of life we develop here in this body. What is that conception of life? That conception of life consists of our aspirations, our desires, our tastes, our deepest desires. This is what I like to do. This is what I enjoy, relish doing. This is what my taste is. And if we have that deepest desire and the aspiration and the taste for material enjoyment, we carry that. Grihitvaitani samyati. And when shariram yadavapnoti, when you take the next body, it has to be according to these desires. So the Lord arranges the next body according to our material conception, according to our conception of life. And Krishna is giving an example. Vayur gandhan ivashayat. Vayuhu, air, gandhan, gandha, smell, fragrance, iva ashayat. Ashayat, where this gandhan, ashayat, where this gandha is coming from, it refers to a flower. So just like the flower is a receptacle of the gandha, ashayat means it's a receptacle, source. Gandhan ashayat, vayur iva gandhan ashayat. Just like air blows over a fragrant flower and carries the fragrance, in the same way, the living entity carries the fragrance of life, a certain conception of life that we have created by our activities here, and carries that to the next body. In this context, Krishna has used the living entity, has used the word Ishvara. And why? Because, yes, the living entity is an Ishvara in a limited sense, because he can determine what kind of body, because he has. Why he can do that? Prabhupada clarifies. Here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade. And if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. The living entity has that minute independence. And hence, he can act this way or that way. Oh, he can act this way. That means he is a controller. Yes, he is Ishvara. That is why he is described here as Ishvara. So like this, we have to carefully read the Vedic literatures to understand what is being stated there. And so here, Brahma is Tadupalabhya. He understood the desire of Agnidra. How could he understand? He understood. But actually, who understands? It is Lord who understands as Paramatma. Paramatma, who is in the heart of the living entity, he smells the desire of the living entity. He understands. But because Brahma is representing Vishnu, Vishnu communicates to him, this is the desire of this living entity, you go and do this. So Vishnu is the via media. The living entity desires, Vishnu senses, and Vishnu tells his representative, like Lord Brahma. And hence Lord Brahma comes to know of the desire of the living entity, which otherwise he is Brahma. He doesn't know the heart, so many living entities are there, and what is there in their heart. Lord knows, and hence he is a representative of the Lord, and he knows. So that is why in our philosophy, in Krishna consciousness, we understand the spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. That is the meaning. He represents Krishna means what? He understands the desire of Krishna. That beautiful verse that Rupa Goswami composed. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam, rather this is composed of Rupa Goswami. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamahyam dadati swapadantikam. Rupa Goswami, why was he representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because he understood the Manobhishta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale. And he established that desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. So, representing in one sense may mean manifesting the powers, but even more fundamental is to manifest the intent of the Lord. That is a higher sense of representation. And our acharyas, they had understood the mind of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one of the reasons for his descent. One of the reasons for him to appear in this material world was that he felt, Krishna felt, although I came to earth 5,000 years ago, I performed my leelas and I spoke my Bhagavad Gita, still many people didn't understand. It happens. It's not so easy. People misunderstand the intent of the Lord, the true meaning of the Lord, the true understanding of what Lord is imparting. Like many people read Bhagavad Gita, there are even many Vaishnava traditions, they miss out some of the things. And our acharyas, they wanted to represent Krishna meaning in the sense how I can capture what is in his heart and present that. One who understands the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is a guru. In the same way, in the parampara, one who understands the order of his guru, he is a guru. Prabhupada explains. So to understand the desire, to understand the order of the Lord, finally in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna concluding verses, he says, I have two desires. One desire is expressed in two verses. Another desire is expressed again in two verses. These are very important verses for us. First desire of Krishna is that we should all become devotees. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mameva yeshyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. This is his first desire. That we should become his, surrender to him. We should become his devotees. We should think of him. And his second desire, soon after this, Krishna explains, Yeidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshva vidhasyati bhaktim mayai param krutva mama evashyati asamshayaha. Madbhakteshva vidhasyati. And one who distributes this knowledge to others, he is very dear to me and he is performing very great devotional service. That is why Srila Prabhupada captured these two desires of Krishna, and Prabhupada says, our intent is we want to realize Krishna ourselves and we want to share this knowledge and realization with others. So beautifully, you see how it is captured. Among all the different things Bhagavad Gita is talking about, finally, sarva guhyatamam bhuya shrunume paramam vachaha. This is my paramam vachaha. This is my supreme instruction. And once again I am telling you, Krishna is again summarizing. I have told you already many times, but once again I am summarizing you. And see how our acharyas reading is so sensitively they are reading, trying to capture the heart of Krishna. We must know what is Krishna, what is in Krishna's mind. This is the extraordinary feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself appeared. And he wanted to give this knowledge, the message of Krishna, which was misunderstood. Krishna had given his message, he had performed his pastimes, but they misunderstood. And he performed his highest pastimes, unfettered pastimes, without holding back. His true love with his loving devotees in Vrindavan. Many people didn't understand that. So it required Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once again to come and explain these things. So this is our sum and substance of Krishna consciousness, is that we want to realize Krishna and we want to share this realization with others and help others to become devotees of Krishna. So there is once Prabhupada was giving a class in Surat in 1970. And there were a few Indians and there were many Western devotees were also there. And so Prabhupada spoke. And then finally, Prabhupada's concluding words are like this. You should realize your own asset. Prabhupada was addressing those few Indians who were there. And he's telling them, your own asset, what is your asset you must realize? And distribute to the world. And distribute that asset to the world. What is our asset? Our asset of our country is Krishna consciousness. That is the essence of the Vedic literatures. And that is rarely understood. And that is our asset. You should realize your own assets and distribute that to the world, and that will make you glorious. That will make us glorious. So, to become Krishna conscious, to realize Krishna and to distribute this knowledge and awareness, this consciousness to others is the final, that is our asset, and we must share that asset with the whole world. This was the intent of Krishna, and that was, see how nicely Srila Prabhupada is expressing these things and communicating these things, and that will make us glorious. So these are some of the beautiful things. And so here we see Lord Brahma, he understood the desire of Agnidra because he is representing Vishnu. So pure devotees, the spiritual master is empowered to know the hearts of the devotees and to guide them accordingly, so that they make progress in spiritual life. So how the spiritual master knows all this? Because he is surrendered to Vishnu, Krishna, and he is representing Krishna. And how he is representing Krishna? He is carrying the intent of Krishna. And that is why he is empowered. So these are all very beautiful, interesting concepts, and we see that working in the life of Srila Prabhupada himself. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.